Hey, folks, welcome to the Accessible Hunter podcast. I'm Greg Trainer along with my co host, Mike Cutson. And I always say this, but we got a really good buddy on, Chad Waligura from down in Texas. And Chad is the founder of Able Outdoors. And we're gonna talk about ducks and see how far we can get under the weeds today with Chad. But first, Mike, what's happening in South Carolina, brother?
Hey man, just living the dream, brother. We been outside. We were working together yesterday with an organization. Well, we're trying to get a bunch of fish in before they stock or they stop the stocking for this year. So he's putting together a list on how we can get some more bluegill and some catfish in before it gets too cold. They shut it down. But funny enough, he said if it gets worst case scenario, he'll just bring fish out of Arkansas. So we
You're
we gonna get there, man.
you're importing those high dollar fish. That's what you're telling me, huh?
Uh, we're trying to get them so that we can start fishing them now. So we're doing various sizes and whatnot, and making
Nice.
sure we already got a breeding stock in place, and then we'll get some good bass in next year. But
Good deal. Well, Chad, thanks so much for joining us. I know we're recording the day before Thanksgiving, and you've got so many irons in the fire. We've been watching you for years, and you're always traveling and you're getting it after it. But where are you at today, man? Are you back home or you on the road?
I've come to discover that I'm gonna need a driver pretty soon.
yeah,
It's getting too hard for me driving all these states to state to go hunting and come back. It takes me 2 days to recover. So
we're just gonna have to get you an RV, dude. We talked about that. Sleep and hire a driver, man. Let's ride it out. And just do competitive hunting for a living.
yeah, we can do it. I'm here for it. It. We're gonna start going all over anyway. So come on.
Hey, man. I don't know how you do it as much, Chad. My shoulder, man, I can get about 5 hours, and them hand controls wax me out. I'm done.
I just get too sleepy now, Mike. But I tell you what, the rumors are true. If you eat like sunflower seeds, it keeps you awake. It's some kind of phenomenon with having something in your mouth like that, having to work it.
Well, you have to stay focused, man. When I was a cop, I used to do it all the time. You got a spit bottle. You're going through your seeds, and it just keeps you activated.
That's
Dude,
it.
it's so funny you guys are mentioning sunflowers because yesterday morning we had grown a bunch of sunflowers here at the house and cut the heads off maybe a month ago or so and dried them. And
Yeah,
Beth was harvesting the seeds
yeah.
into a big 2 gallon bag so we can plant sunflowers down at the farm in the spring in April or May. And it's funny you guys are mentioning sunflowers because I'm still picking sunflowers off the kitchen floor and the kitchen table, man. Those things go everywhere whenever they're dried.
We
Oh
planted
yeah,
doves down there. I hope you're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
buddy, that's what we're trying to do is put in a big sunflower patch behind the orchard and make that a dove field. But Chad, for the people that may not have followed you before or may not have seen your Wikipedia page, I think you're the only guy in the world that has a Wikipedia page that I know personally. But you want to tell people a little about yourself and how you were injured and what you're up to?
Oh my gosh, I got injured a heck of a long time ago in 1986. Just diving into a pool. Nothing really spectacular, but it happened. It happened because it was supposed to happen. I know for sure.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people. I was set up better or as much as anyone to survive it because of the support system I had. So basically, I was young. I was 17 and really into outdoor stuff, and I didn't want that to end. So I didn't let it. We figured it out and just started. Then selfishly I started because I loved doing it and I didn't want to give it up. And once I figured it out, I started helping other people figure it out too, and that just sent me on the path I'm still on today. Going and
Chad, that's one of the things I've always admired, man, is you're one of these guys that want to pour into others. And long ago, man, I was working on some hand dexterity things, and you made up a little trigger pull mechanism and sent it to me, and it's awesome to see. Some of the I don't even know what you call it. It's like a zero gravity type device that you guys came up with to help some quad shoulder and shoot birds. And That's one of the things I love about doing these podcasts with Greg is just being able to highlight people that don't stop and they find new ways to get after it. And so, man, I love watching what you're doing weekly, but this traveling and killing ducks, dude, I'm ready to get down there and just join the team, brother.
Well, I tell you what, I've always wanted to shoot mallards in Arkansas, and this guy, uh, just through Facebook, I met this guy, and he's starting a group called Impact Mobility Impaired Outdoors. He's
Okay.
just one guy wanting to. He's got a buddy up there who's in a chair, and he's a below the knee amputee, and they're wanting to help get other people out, and he's like, man, we have this mobility impaired blind part of the on public land, and you have to draw for it, and nobody knows really about it. He's like, why don't you come up and hunt? I was like, dude, you don't have to twist my arm. Come up and
Right.
hunt. Come hunt up in Arkansas, and it last weekend just happened to be open weekend, so I drove up there, and it was spectacular. It wasn't easy to get to the blind. You need help. We need four
Right.
wheelers and at least one or two able-bodied guys with you to help. That happens to me all the time.
Sure.
Right.
But
Right.
they were in there. I just had fun watching those. I hadn't seen mallards come in 40 years.
Right.
It was pretty spectacular. I killed my first entry into my ultimate waterfowl challenge up there. Just one, but at least we got the ball rolling.
Heck yeah.
That's what I was going to say. You not only seen them, but you harvested them. And, I know you're a huge wing shooter. I haven't really been able to do that very much. I'm not as quick as you, not as good of a shot, obviously. But did you take your dog with you too? And how was the travel experience up to Arkansas from Texas?
I took my young one because I knew it was going to be a kind of a hard hunt. I got a 10-year-old. There wasn't enough room actually in my truck for two dogs and all the stuff. People don't understand when you travel as a quad or a pair to go hunt. You got a lot of extra stuff as it is, like shower tent,
Heck yeah.
shower bench, supplies, and then you got hunting stuff, and then dog stuff. It's a lot. It is a lot
It is.
to go
That's
travel.
one of the things you're going to have to either get an RV or a big travel trailer, dude. It's mind blowing. I used to be able to go with a backpack, and now I've got a suitcase just full of medical supplies, and you're packing 10 times what you need because you don't know what you need till you get there.
my
But
buddy, my buddy Gordy would say, all you need is an energetic caregiver, and he's
yeah,
right.
You need a MacGyver and a problem solver for a caregiver because, man, how many times are you out doing something and, man, it just I've never seen this before, or we lost this, or this got damaged, or how do we zip tie or duct tape or fix
right.
this trigger, or there's always stuff that comes up, whether you're able-bodied or a person with disability, but you got to problem solve in the ground blind and the duck blind.
Oh yeah,
I pack as light as humanly possible, and that's one of my younger one here. I pack
yeah,
so light, and I tell you what, it's 9 hours to Little Rock. That's where I was
yeah,
headed. I got the largest gas tank on my truck you can get. It holds
yeah.
36 gallons, and I can drive 9 hours on one tank.
Yes,
Wow.
sir. Yes, sir.
Not that I can't get out and gas up. I can do that, especially this day and age when you just put your card in and it reads the chip. You don't have to put it in, push it in, pull it out real quick.
Yeah.
They made gassing up. They didn't do it for us. Technology caught up to where it makes it
Yep.
easier for someone in a chair to get out and gas up.
You know,
But I,
part of the approach, man, to any kind of hunting is always difficult just getting out in the woods and duck hunting. I did a lot of it before my injury, but dude, it's always difficult when you add water, wheelchairs, all of that, just trying to get to it. So I can't imagine, it's a good thing that they offered for you to come check it out. And I know it was awesome because you could give them good feedback on, what would make it a little bit easier. But did they have anything set up that you could do like a sled? I've seen, guys where they'd pull you up in a sled type thing, or what do
it,
you think, Chad, to make it easier?
they had a spot on the opposite side of the pond we were on that had like a levee going to a platform where they used to have this blind. but for some reason they moved it to the other side, and now you have to ride 4-wheelers through the water to get to it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I I don't know why they moved it over. It doesn't matter why. I mean, the blind's accessible. They have a spot where you can drive the 4-wheeler up in. They got like a little garage attachment to it.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome.
Their blinds up in Arkansas are serious. There's plenty of room. There's room to cook breakfast in there and
That,
dance. You got a little dance floor.
It's
that,
crazy, man.
that's what I was going to ask you, Chad, is like buddy heaters, or I know they do a lot of cooking and they do it right, in the duck blinds up there or down there, I should say. But how'd you stay warm, and what kind of gear, what kind of clothing did you wear
It
for
was
the trip?
not cold. It got down to about 50 in the morning, which is like ideal for me. I don't need to freeze my tail off, but it was cool. We've had 80s, 90s here all year,
Yeah.
so
Wow.
that seemed cool to me. But for them, 20s is teens is cool. It's just a little early in the year. It wasn't that cold yet.
There you go. So on your challenge, I know that was your first greenhead. What's the next step on the challenge for you?
We we're gonna we got to hunt down on the coast. Since you mentioned that zero gravity rig, there's a guy coming that hadn't hunted yet since his injury, I don't think, and he wants to try that zero gravity rig. So
Yeah.
the hitch is it's in Louisiana right now. I got to go get it
Oh
before
boy.
we pull that hunt off on the coast, which it's going to be another major undertaking. The guy that runs that has his own airboat, and he built some accessible blinds on the bay, which is the only ones I've ever heard of. Because bay hunting it's difficult too. I mean, you gotta really want to go do it and have the help and
Yeah.
you gotta have the boat too, because the water's real shallow in the wintertime over there.
Right.
But we've been there several times. It's a guy has an organization called Hell or High Water, so
There you
he does
go.
a great job and gets people out on the coast, and I'm just kind of facilitator.
Chad, do you want to explain that zero gravity shotgun system a little bit for people that may not understand it or haven't seen it before?
Sure, yeah, I ripped it off the design from. I didn't rip it off. A guy I found him on Facebook one day in Wisconsin, and he had it. We had a form of it. It was just clunkier and larger. It was just a lever system. When we started, it's a lever system that holds the weight of the gun. It attaches to your shotgun where you're holding it, and it has a counterbalance in the back. And so you just kind of swing it around. You don't have to actually hold because most guns are about 7 pounds.
Yeah.
So
Right.
this guy, his name is Clifford, and I've always wanted one that fit on your chair in front of you, and he had it built. We could never figure out how to do it. Our pea brains down here. So he had the design, and he was using it to shoot skeet and pheasant, and I called him and asked him if he'd build me one, and he's like, "Sure, just send me the cost of the materials." I was like, "That done." So because you need to
Right.
actually have it in your possession for people to duplicate it.
Right. Right.
So he sent me one, and we it that one is just it has roller springs that push up whenever the gun sits on like a little rail, and the weight of the gun is just matched with the resistance on the spring, so it kind of floats, and then on that rail your gun can go left and right, so it goes up, down,
Yeah.
left, right, and takes the weight of the gun away. So basically nobody sells it. You have to get it made. I'm going to try to
Yeah.
get 2 or 3 of them made just so I have, because sometimes we have more than one person comes that
Sure.
needs to try it.
You
It's
know, it's
pretty genius.
I love the idea because all it's doing is allowing you get back to pre-injury, being in the full aspect of holding the shotgun and being able to swing left, right, up, and down, with
Sure.
just a little assistance on a counterbalance.
Yep.
And you can anybody that's ever tried to wing shoot, if you're putting a gun in a gun vise, I'm chasing pheasant and all that stuff. As a quad,
No,
we have enough trouble going left and right. And man, you throw a pheasant coming out of there or something that's dogs jumping and this thing's flying. You can't get that shotgun going fast enough. And
Oh, Mike, you know that I see that all the time. People just have their shotgun in like a tripod. I'm like, you can't
Mhm.
wing shoot out of a
it
tripod,
is
that
difficult,
ain't gonna
man.
work unless
Yep.
they're landing in front of you.
Right,
Y-
right.
You know, those stable mounts. They make a great thing for rifle hunting and for crossbow
Turkey.
and
Right.
turkey, deer,
Yeah.
where you can set up in anticipation of where that game animal is going to be.
Right.
But I agree with you, Chad, that you got to be able to swing left and right and follow that bird. And
Sure.
even then, I mean, you're probably seeing what 20, 25 ducks before you drop one. I mean, our success rates are hindered by our ability or disability, however you want to say it. But you almost got to shoot a box of shells sometimes to get
Yeah.
one or two.
It
At least
takes
that's me,
practice,
brother.
buddy.
That's just me.
It's definitely more difficult to shoot with that rig. I'm lucky I don't need it, but
Yeah.
if I had to use it, I would use it.
Heck
I,
yeah.
I would definitely use it, but you have to. It's more awkward. You need a little bit more assistance too. I mean, there's some other adaptations that kind of help,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it's for that C5, C6 area right in there.
Yeah. The
Can
sweet spot.
the sweet spot, and that's about where you have to be to use that zero gravity rig, and you can graduate from it if you're C6.
There you go.
If you lets you practice, you get stronger in your arms, and then you
Yeah.
you you can get away from it afterwards.
That's exactly what I was fixing to say. It's almost like a teaching modality. You could use it in there, gain some strength, and it'd be great on a clay shoot. Just sitting there shooting skeet and
Oh,
building up strength at the same token, and just articulate the arm on the clay thrower,
Mhm.
and simulate getting out there. I tell you what I'm wanting to do, and I don't know if you've done this either, Chad or Greg. I want to get on one of those devices that's got the front end ATV where you get out on a ledge and get out there and chase some quail and pheasant. I haven't
Yeah.
done it personally yet, but that's on my go-to.
I've seen them on the front. They make those on the front of like a big cruiser now,
Right, right,
like a Land Cruiser. They'll have that big platform. That's just a quail rig,
right,
Yeah.
and you
right.
could take those seats off of there and just strap a chair on there and go.
I'm so used to just jumping on the trailer and strap me to a tractor or a four-wheeler, ATV, whatever. I just go. I just want to be in the woods. But being out on the front end of that thing, man, I think that'd be really cool. I just haven't done it yet.
You need to be on the front if you're going to be shooting quail.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes,
Chad,
sir.
Chad, did they have anything like that when you were in Africa? I mean, yeah, I know you were covering a lot of ground and kind of like safari hunting. Did they have anything like that, or were you on the back of a pickup, or
No,
how did that go?
we were in a cruiser that they had an adaptive little gun holder in there, but the actually the part of the cab that comes down, the structure on your left was removed, so it was all wide open, straight ahead, or all around the door to my left.
Yeah.
But that gun rig, it sat up too high, and I'm a tall guy, so
Yeah.
once my gun was on there, I couldn't. You can't get up and look through the scope if the gun's too high.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I told the guy, I was like, look, why, I can just shoot off the dash. And he's like, he threw a sandbag up there. He goes, man, I'll fix it. They went and they made a little that little diamond pattern metal, like
Yeah.
they do on
Yep.
running boards. He had
Yeah.
that across the front, a little bit below the dash. And the next morning, and they threw that sandbag up there, and he's like, all right, try that. And it was perfect. I was like, all right, we're ready. We had to go shoot a little bit. I was like,
Yeah.
that was it. I mean, we cruised around in that all day long.
That's what makes it so much fun, man. It's people don't understand when you got a disability, you got limitations as it is. And then when you're vertically challenged, trying to get up behind the scope of a gun, it always makes it a little bit more festive, if you will, just being able to chase the quarry. And like, man, I got enough issues going on. I don't need to
Yep.
try to figure out how I'm going to reinvent the wheel.
It
Chad,
was super cool. We actually spotted a warthog out in this tall grass field. just like a
Yeah.
pasture. The grass was about 2 feet tall, and my buddy went with me, and my PH was like, can your buddy carry you out there? I was like, hell yeah. So I
Yeah.
jumped on his back, and my PH was carrying. I wish we'd have had a picture of this. My PH had my chair folded up. He was carrying my chair and my rifle, and my buddy didn't. He couldn't see him out there. I was like, I was like, follow the PH. Don't worry. So
Right.
he's walking. I was like, you see that little gray line out there about 300 yards? That's a warthog. So we got to about 100 yards, got down. I got in my chair, and I actually used my buddy as a rest. I was like, face forward and or kneel down in front of me. I'm going to shoot off your
Off your shoulder.
God
shoulder.
love him.
And I shot that I'd never shot through the grass before. And I was like, what do I do? My PH was like, don't worry about the grass because it doesn't mess with the bullet flight.
Right.
But I didn't know that. He's like, don't worry about the grass. Just shoot through it. And I shot in that warthog, made a big semicircle and almost started coming right at us. And my buddy's like, what do we do? I was like, nothing you could do. Just be still. And he kind of rolled right by us. It was super cool. He would die.
Chad,
He just didn't know where he was going.
right. Chad done jumped on the back and papoosed him across there. Dude, that's funny as crap. You got to get a video next time of building some kind of backpack to throw a quad in.
It was cool. I got to go on the actual stalk.
Dude, that's awesome. And we were kind of talking before we started recording about our caregivers or our hunting buddies. Anybody that's assisting us has to be a MacGyver at times, And there's a situation where you weren't planning on getting backpacked, 1,000 yards out there. You got those good Texas eyes where you can see game 1,000 yards away. I'm just a PA hunter that if it's not 80 yards or under, I'm having trouble seeing it. But you got those good Western eyes, and that's an awesome story where you'll remember that story the rest of your life. And maybe your PH is still telling that story. Well, hell, there's this one guy that we had to backpack him out there. It didn't stop him. He got out there and killed a giant warthog, and the warthog ran right at us. We had to whip out our knives and defend ourselves. Or
Right.
you know how hunting stories go. It turns out that you were doing hand-to-hand combat with that warthog by the end.
We had some fun out there, buddy. I want to go back and film a show out there because our outfitter out there was Olafsi Safaris, and they were completely accessible. They take guys in power chairs out and
Right.
and house them, lodge them, and I was very impressed with their setup, and they've been doing it for years. They were doing it before they met me, and hopefully they'll keep doing it till I get to go back.
Yeah, that's one of the things, man. We'll definitely have to tag the link in there. People that would just want to get up and go. And how long of a trip was it just to get there, Chad? And that's the deal. So my in-laws go all the time to Africa. They go through like Dar es Salaam, through they're in over on the coast, so they're near Kenya, Tanzania, all that area. But you were hunting in a completely different area.
We went to, that was in Namibia.
Yeah.
The big flight was from Atlanta to Joburg. That was like 13 hours.
There you go.
We did that the first time we went to Africa. We just went to South Africa and hunted for a few days. My dad's buddy wanted to go. We went to Paris, flew to Paris because it was a shorter trip. Stayed in Paris for 3 or 4 days because we wanted to hang out in Paris.
Right. Yeah.
You
got to check your booty. Yeah.
And it was just another little, I say a little overnight, another 7 or 8 hours overnight to go down there, which I didn't mind the 13 hours. I do my BP every other night. So I have that 48-hour time span
right
to fly a long way. And, if you cath or you have a leg bag or something, that's
right.
Very easy to take care of on the plane. You're not going to fly there alone. You're going to have someone with you.
Oh, you got to.
You're going to have somebody holding the blanket up so you can take a leak, because you can't get to the restroom on the plane. But that's something a lot of people don't think about is our bodily functions when we travel. Like you driving to Arkansas for 9 hours, when do I stop to pee? When do I stop to cath? Is it my bowel program evening? Whenever I get there at 2 o'clock in the morning, do I still have to stay up and do my bowel program? That's
Oh,
quad life. Absolutely.
I've done it. I'm late nights, and then you got to get up early in the morning to hunt.
Yep.
That's that dedication, man. Got to
That's
be
what's
ready to
up.
go. It's not made for the weak.
There better be a lot of mallards out there for me to do that. Go,
That's
go.
right.
But I tell you what, on that long flight, you just got to protect your skin. That's the main thing.
That's
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes,
I'll,
sir.
I'll
We've talked
take
about.
an extra gel pad, and I'll take a a little memory foam sponge for either my back or actually to put. You can put it on top of that pad for something long like that. You have to be covered because
Right.
you
Yep.
can't move. You're not getting up and getting your chair. You
Nah.
want to put on like calf supports, to keep your legs from swelling and stuff like that. So you don't get blood clots. So when you're
Yep.
young, you never worry about that stuff. But now you have to. They make those cool little battery powered leg sleeves now that
Hmm.
will compress and let off and compress, and that
Yep.
that helps too. But
Yep.
that battery only goes for about 4 or 5 hours.
But
But
Yeah.
it helps.
it,
Every little
it
thing.
it helps on a long flight like that. And I don't fly very much anymore, Chad, but when I did, I made a chest strap that would go around the back of
Right.
the chair because wearing a seatbelt doesn't do me any good. I was always falling face forward into the seat in
Yeah.
front of me. So if you have a passenger behind you that doesn't mind a strap, holding their tray down, I always brought my own chest strap that I wouldn't come out of my seat or fall
Plus, that
forward
seat
too.
only goes back like that far now.
Right.
You
Yeah.
you can't lean back, and it's so hard to go to sleep when you're sitting up like that. It's impossible.
Yes,
So
sir.
a chest strap would be good. You could lean against it and go to sleep.
Exactly,
You know,
brother.
you guys are bringing up some stuff that's it's funny, man. The last flight we did, I put my chest strap on, because it gives me that dexterity. I can still lean, get off my butt, but it gave me that support.
Yep.
And we were coming out of DFW, man, flying from Dallas to back to South Carolina. But we were going to land, and our pilot was phenomenal. And she touched down, and I told my wife, I said, "Man, that's the best landing we ever had." And she hit the brakes, and my booty slid forward in that
Oh,
seat, man. Yeah, the chest strap held me, man, but my butt started shooting straight underneath that
Right.
thing. And I don't know what she was doing. Like, must have been a dog or a deer ran across in front of her, dude, because she hit the brakes with both feet, man.
Oh,
And
she.
it adds to the adventures, man. It's stuff we get to laugh about, but yeah, she about slingshotted me right on out of that seat.
Oh
I
yeah, she
just
brake
I
checked you.
just bought a little device. It's a little strap that goes around your forehead and goes around the back of the seat. That's supposed to help you be able to sleep. So
Okay, so it locks your head up against the chair.
yeah, so you don't have to. Man, I'm always having to use my hands to hold myself back.
Yep.
You
Right,
can't
Yep.
sleep like that; just too uncomfortable.
right. That you're wearing your triceps out, man.
Chad,
Yeah,
you,
that.
you brought up a really good point about telling your guide in Africa, and this could be Arkansas or Wyoming or whatever, but you've seen that they didn't anticipate the right height for you holding your rifle, so
Yeah,
you told them, and automatically that night those guys worked on something to correct that situation. I find that always in hunting camps where if the ramp isn't built, they'll build you a ramp in an hour to get you into a building or whatever you need to do. They can't anticipate all the needs of a quadriplegic or
right.
paraplegic, but if you have the self confidence to speak up and say, "Hey, could you guys adjust this a little bit one way or the other?" I find that they're really accommodating most times.
Oh yeah, they especially in their line of work because they're living off the grid. They
Yep.
can't run to
Yeah,
town. They can't go to Ace Hardware.
Right.
They have to be able to make everything they have to be able to fix everything that breaks down or make stuff that they need. They're
Yes,
pretty
sir.
really self-sufficient.
And
well, that's always the biggest thing too, is just having more eyes on it. Sometimes it's simple fixes that we may just be overlooking, and
right.
it's finding a new way to do it. It's just like that device I was talking about earlier that Chad actually made for me. It's just a simple brace that you stick your finger in with Velcro and pull the trigger straight back. I mean,
Hmm.
it works good on certain things, and you're just able to get after it and go.
That's I still got my original one that I had the orthotics doctor make for me
Yeah,
after I messed around with the prototype for several years, and I was like, okay, this is what I really need. So we've been 3D printing them now to give to people. My pro staffer Justin Gordy, he's got them on his site, Into It Outdoors. So he's been using one for a while too, and so he's like, man, I want to be able to make these for other people. And I'm like,
right,
yeah, we've been playing around with 3D printing, and none of that stuff is strong enough that we keep breaking them.
Right.
And
right.
Right.
we finally got that carbon fiber. You can't break that.
Yep. Yep.
So
Ch-
I have a backup, but I shoot my original still.
two, two is one and one is none, right, Mike?
That's it, man. You know, Chad, talking about devices and being able to get out with technology, you and I have been working with some of these guys up here with Coyote and whatnot. Uh, I wonder how something like that would work in Africa. My only concern would be the height discrepancy. And you're in this tall grass. Next thing you know, the stalker might be getting stalked.
I think it sits up high enough because mainly you're going down the roads until you see something to get off the road on. But they 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 have like they could either pull it behind one of the cruisers, or
Yeah, yeah,
they have a larger machine for when they have somebody in a power chair. They
yeah.
could easily load that thing up on there, and
You
so
know,
you're
it's funny.
around all day long. But
It's funny enough, you just said something that I can see it in my mind. You have a quick deployment vehicle. You just pull me on the Coyote on a trailer, dude, and when you find some animal, I'll jump off and stalk him out. We're laughing about it, but that might be something that it's unique one, but being able to really get out there and get into stalking, that'd be phenomenal.
I definitely want to get one over there for them
Yeah,
someday.
We
Even if we have to get donations and stuff to have it, and then
sure.
you ship it over there on a shipping container. That's how you
Right.
get your African animals back after they mount them and all that. Same deal.
right.
It's not going to break the bank to get it over there.
It's
No.
just a matter of logistics. And
Yeah.
Chad, you've been hurt a long time. Mike and I have been as well. And over the years, we're always trying to make things better, whether it's equipment or advocating and letting these guides know what we need. What do you think is the next step in adaptability for people getting out? What do you think the future is that we can do better?
Ooh, that's a tough one. You
Man, I
know,
don't play around. Whenever I ask a question, I make it a doozy.
He just threw you under the bus. It's up to you now, Chad.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be those chairs just like the Coyote, because there's a few different brands,
Yep.
and
Right.
that are going to be it just allow you to get out, not even just hunt, get out and do
Yep.
like mountain biking or
Right.
stuff
Family vacations.
you may just want to go like on trails around your house or in the city and go check stuff out
The,
on the
Yeah.
the
beaches. Go up and down the beach and not just be stuck to one spot all the time when you go down there.
the
And
reason I said that
that's
was,
the biggest advance right now.
look how far assistive technologies come with cell phones and with Amazon Alexa and what have you. That, when you and I were first in rehab, Mike, at Shepherd Center, they developed a multimedia Mac system that would
Yeah.
would control our home, and we had to have our breaker box rewired and everything else, and the system costs $40,000. Well, now we go on Amazon and we buy a light switch and we say it by voice. And not
Right.
only for people with disabilities, but everybody benefits for that. So the
Hmm.
cost comes down, and it's reliable now. It's not a one-off made for us. So
Right.
as technology advances, how many times do you guys see able-bodied hunters using tripods now?
Hmm.
using a balance tripod with a level in a ground blind. The doors on ground blinds have gotten so that they can fit not only wheelchairs, but the guy in his kid and his chair and everything else. So I think as more people see hunters with disabilities as a marketing tool, it's only going to get better. And I know you work with a lot of different manufacturers, Chad, and that's one of the reasons I just brought it up. What you think the future is going to be for not only disabled hunters
I'd
but
love
all
to
of
be able
us.
to design my own pop-up blind. I wish
Yeah.
they'd all have the garage door style door,
Right.
Yep.
and I wish they all had the see-through, the see-through mesh, so it's not like you're sitting in a closet hunting, and
Yep.
the windows have to. We hunted 2 weeks ago in Arkansas deer hunting, and the windows are too low. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
excruciating to sit in your chair and have to lean down to look out for 2 hours.
Right.
I
The windows need to be a little higher, a little bigger. It just
I
there's
I don't
there's a
I don't
few tweaks.
I don't know if you've tried the Tide We ground blind yet, Chad. I just tried it this year. I was always a big baronet blind person, and I still am. But this year, I bought a Tide We blind, the 270 flip up, and it's got the huge garage door on the back, and then all of the sides are see through. Now,
Yeah.
when they say see through, you can see out, but it's not like crystal clear, you know.
Right,
But
right. It's
but
not
but
clear. It's like looking
you,
through a screen, but it
right,
gives
but
you the sense of sitting in the woods.
absolutely that you can see deer movement and things coming around you. But they had by far the best windows I've ever used, that they're silent and they adjust so far down and so far up. I've only used this 1 year, and I'm by no means sponsored by Tide We, but I was impressed with the blind, to tell you guys the truth.
I always saw that advertisement. I was like, this has to be a ripoff because of the. I'm glad somebody's buying it.
Dude, believe me, I thought it was one of the better blinds that I used for accessibility and having those silent windows. And
Yeah.
it had like a rain fly cover for the top too. I
Yeah.
I thought it was really well made for the money, and I'm going to be using it for a couple of years, hopefully.
So the one I would like recently, it's the only thing that it doesn't do. They don't have the see-through stuff, but it's world famous sports. It's
Hmm.
difficult to find them, but they
Yeah.
have the garage door opening,
Yep.
and it's big. It has a lot
Yep.
of room in there, which it frequently we have two chairs in a blind. And
Yes,
if you
Right.
have two chairs and then an able-bodied person or two, you
Yeah.
need a blind that's like 6'8", or
yep.
they have one that's like a little. It's not exactly a rectangle. It's kind of like I want to say it's hexagonal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It,
Like Pentagon.
That's exactly what it is.
yeah, it
Mhm.
gives you a little bit more room, and then they have a really big one that I've never gotten the real big one, just the
I
medium sized one.
I bought one when we were at National Wild Turkey 2 years ago by Baronet. It's called the Pentagon, and so
Yes.
you could get four people in there. Two or three chairs. You got a lot of room, but man, it's a lot of setup, and it takes up a
Hmm.
lot of real
Oh
estate.
yeah,
But it does really good. But I'm like Greg, because even that Baronet, it's still got some of the Velcro style windows, so they're noisy. But that
yeah. That's
Tide Weed, I got one this year too, and it's just got a little push button. It's not even a push button; it's just a slide up and down device, and so that window's dead silent. I like it because I can push the stuff out of the way. And like
Hmm.
Chad said, I have a lot of trouble. I'm not super tall, but my power chair, my track chair sits me up a little bit higher. And so
Yep.
when I'm deer or turkey hunting, I'm constantly having to lean down just to see under, and it makes it miserable because now you're hurting your back and neck just to be able to try to sit forward enough to visualize any animals coming through.
Oh, it's impossible to do, and
Yep.
uh, especially if you're looking out with binoculars, you got to lean down and
Right.
like that. It
Losing your balance, man, falling forward.
And and the other thing is, I mean, blinds are getting so much better for people that are standing. Most of the blinds are over 6 feet tall in height now. So when I tip back to do my weight shifts and I got my crossbow on the end, I can go back and my broadhead's not poking through the ceiling of the ground blind
Right.
anymore. And I'm still able to do my weight shifts because they're making them for people to be able to stand up and shoot their bow or what have you. And I guess I started this whole long conversation to just say that, you know, accessibility is getting so much better over the years, over the last probably 3 or 4 years, that these manufacturers are making it for the masses, not just us, but it is improving
Sure.
our lives so much.
Well, I tell you what, there's a company in Texas here. I think it's Dan Cooper. It's like Cooper Hunting, and I don't know if you've seen it. We post pictures of it. It's like a giant camo umbrella, and it's got windows in it. It's kind of like just a side of a pop-up blind. He made it for turkey hunting, which I love
Yeah,
because I like
yeah,
carving out a little space in the brush back of my
yeah.
truck in there, and then I can pull that umbrella in front of me. Just and
It's
it
all, if it's the one I'm thinking of, Chad, it's almost like one of the beach umbrellas like you would have where you
Yeah,
just tuck in out of the shade.
Oh
it's
yeah.
so good for that, and we use it during dove season when it's 100 degrees out here, and if
Right.
you're in a field with no cover, it'll keep the sun off your back, and as a quad, you can't be out in 90-degree weather in the
No.
sun for hours. It'll kill you.
Oh yeah.
Ch- Chad, you bring up a good point about the heat. Mike and I are always concerned about the cold, and we do a lot of advertisement for Mr. Buddy Heater just because I freaking love them. But down in
So do I.
Texas, you got the opposite problem. But I seem to recall you guys did a video with almost like an air conditioning unit. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, they a different company bought that out. It's called the Icy Breeze,
Yeah,
and it uses ice water, and it'll blow cold air on you for several hours. I like taking it out, but I found that the better product is this Ryobi Mister fan. It's a bucket top
Right.
fan.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
put it on a 5-gallon bucket, you put ice water in there, and it'll blow cool mist on you and your dog.
yeah.
I
nice.
mainly got to keep my dog alive because they'll run themselves to death too when it's so hot.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
but it'll cool me and my dog. It gets you a little wet, but what the heck? It keeps you cool. It's a lifesaver out there.
Well,
That
Keeps
one's
that
you
a
it
lot.
cold.
simulates
That one's
that.
a lot more effective.
Right. It simulates that sweat, dude. You got it going on. You're staying cool, hydrated. You're ready to get after those animals, man. But I absolutely love being in Texas and hunting. It's just a whole different, coming from the South. I'm like Greg. I live close to the mountains, so we're only going to get a couple 100-yard shot. And you got such changes in elevation. But when we get out near Dallas, Wichita Falls, all of that, man, it's like being on the moon, dude. You guys can see forever and a day. And the guys are showing me these bluffs, and they're like, "Hey, do you see where it's really green out there? That's where my deer blind's at." And I'm like, "That spot 3 miles away," And then we get out and all the mesquite and everything. It's really cool. So I envy that area.
Hey, when you start going west, you better start shooting further because that
Yeah,
300 yards looks like a long way when you're hunting deer in Mississippi, Alabama, even
yeah,
Texas in the woods. 100 yards looks far, but you get
yeah.
out west, at 300 is nothing.
Nothing. No.
It'll fool you in a second.
This is one of the questions we always have, but uh, of the rifle calibers, what's your go-to?
Oh my bread and butter is just a 7 millimeter '08. That's what
Yeah.
I hunt most with. I just got a 300 Win Mag though that I hadn't hunted with it yet. I need to get a good scope for it.
Oh
So
yeah.
Athlon's gonna send me a scope. They're gonna sponsor Able Outdoors, and so I'm looking forward to getting a hunting. You got to get a hunting scope
Right.
for me
Yeah.
anyway, because it's half the weight. You get those long distance shooting scopes; those things are heavy, buddy.
I'm waiting on to see the video, dude. I want to see that Win Mag and that manual chair, and see how long those anti-tip bars keep you in
No,
check.
no, I got suppressor on that thing. There's no way I'm shooting that without a suppressor.
You go ahead and take that thump off that 300 Win Mag. She's got a little juice.
Oh,
Hey,
it's still a little bit, but you take 85, 90% of the recoil off. That is doable. Otherwise, I would never shoot a 300 caliber like that.
Right.
because I'm the
what's
one
your
that has to
goal with
sight
it?
it in.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you aiming to hunt with it?
Oh, elk,
Yeah.
red stag in New Zealand, moose. We got to
Yes,
go. We
sir.
got to go hunt a moose someday. If
It,
we someday I want to do bighorn sheep or something, in the mountains, and I may have to. If I can't climb up there, I may have to shoot 500-600 yards, 700 yards, and you need that 300 Win Mag to be able to kill that.
Absolutely.
Chad, I used to have a 300 Win Mag. That was what I bought to take to Canada bear hunting, but
Yeah.
that's too much rifle for this old man anymore. 308 and 243 are usually my go-to rifles anymore.
They make such good suppress. I, my first trip to Africa, first time I ever shot suppressors over there because I shot their guns since we went through Paris, and I had no idea. It took the recoil off. I was like, I heard the
Yeah.
angels sing, and I was like, man, as
Yes,
soon as
sir.
they legalize this, I'm going with suppressors for the rest of my life.
Yep.
I'm never shooting rifles again without it.
I was surprised how much of a difference a suppressor makes on recoil.
Yeah.
It definitely helps, and I'm glad I have one. I was just shocked. I had never shot a lot suppressed. I know, Mike, you've got a background in that, but I was surprised how much of a difference a suppressor makes in recoil.
No one ever said anything about it. They just talked about, dampening the noise
Right,
reduction. And
Everybody talks about it and you see it on TV, they make them out to be these silencers. It just takes the high pitch out of it,
right.
but Chad brought up a great point. It does a lot for recoil reduction. And then that's where it's at. And then you get a lot of times I see where if you're hunting pigs or whatever, as soon as you pull the trigger, they're gonna scatter. It doesn't
Right.
matter. They just going
yeah,
off instinct, man. But
Yes,
even
sir.
when we get down to Texas, we're shooting suppressed. And I think it gives you an opportunity to get on another animal a little bit quicker because they don't know where that first shot came from.
Right,
definitely.
right.
You can't make a high powered rifle quiet.
No,
No,
it takes a lot of con, the big concussion off,
concussion.
but
Yep.
it's still crack.
We're doing something here where my neighbors, I live in the country, but we've got neighbors out here, and most of our people are not dominant shooters. And so we've got a lot of AR formats, and we do a lot in the 22s just because it's a full size variant of a gun, cheap
Hmm.
bullets, and people just can hear that they're impacting the target on steel. So that's
Yep.
what we did too. I mean, it's a 22. They're high pitched, but it's not going to do a whole lot for killing your ear function. But we just do it to kind of keep our neighbors from being too ticked off. Uh,
Sure.
and not to mention,
That's very nice of you. It's very cordial.
well, not to mention, it looks kind of cool. You get these guys and girls out here that's never really shot, and you throw a suppressor on there. I think it just gives them a whole new insight.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Chad, we appreciate you coming on the podcast today, and we just want to ask you what's next for you. Where are you going for your next duck hunt? And then, Mike, if you want to wrap us up, uh, Chad, we'll definitely have you back on because we could shoot the bull for 3 or 4 hours.
You're right, buddy. Well, now I'm gonna get cranking with duck now because with the waterfowl challenge, I'm going down to the coast. We're going to Port A, right by Corpus Christi, and
Yeah,
we're take 2 or 3 people in chairs out hunting. I'm gonna be guiding, but I'm still gonna pick off a couple of ducks
There you
from
go.
my
what
waterfowl challenge. So
what type ducks you guys hunting down that way?
they got redheads on the coast, and we call them bluebills. They're lesser scaup, and there's
Yeah,
even some greater scaup. And if we're lucky we may
some
see some bufflehead.
yeah
Wow.
some old chuckers down that way. That'd be
Yeah.
good stuff.
Next week I'm going up to New York State around Jamestown. When a friend of mine lives up there, and they hunt greater Canadian and black duck. I told
Oh,
him I
wow.
needed a black duck, so we were going to go last year, but they had a blizzard. If you remember that Monday Night Football game with
I
Buffalo and
do.
the
Yeah.
blizzard,
Yep.
we were supposed to go that week, and I was like, man, I can't come up there in a blizzard. We didn't even know if we could get there.
Are you
Right.
So they hunted in
are
three
you
feet of
fly,
snow. I was glad we didn't go.
are you flying, Chad, or driving?
We're driving. We had to take dogs and shotguns, and I
Dude,
want to bring a couple if I kill a big goose, I want to bring a mounter back.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're going to be driving right by southwestern PA to get up there. You gotta stop in and say hello to me. I'll send you my address offline here, and you see if it works into your travel arrangements. And
Right.
while
Yes,
you're
and
go while you're going to upstate New York, if you run into any issues or you have some time, check out Ricky Mills from Wild Jaeger Veteran Adventures. Ricky lives near Syracuse,
Yeah.
and it'd be a great guy to touch base with and have a drink at the Elks Lodge there with Ricky.
well, I want to go up and see Niagara Falls.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Or you got to
Yeah.
drive right by my house to get up there.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, send me your address.
I will, guys. And folks, we appreciate you listening to the Accessible Hunter podcast and giving us an opportunity to talk with Chad and guys like him, girls like him. It's all about getting in the outdoors and just keep advocating for change. And we appreciate you. Mike, you want to take us out?
It's always a great opportunity just to be able to bring up all these different organizations that are just trying to make a difference. No one organization or no one group can do it on their own. We talk about it all the time. Find new ways to get out there and help others. It's not about self. It's just about trying to figure out new ways to get people in the woods. And we bring up this all the time too. We need assistance. Don't be ashamed to ask for the help that you need. These guys and girls want to assist. They just don't know what our needs are. So just be open and honest, and get out there and just have a blast, man. Chad, again, thank you for taking time to come on, dude, and just being able to share all the advocacy you do. And we're always excited to have you on this thing, but man, we got to get in the woods together and see what we can figure out.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes,
If
sir.
anybody's watching, you just get out there. It's the most important thing is just to get out there. It doesn't matter if
Absolutely.
you succeed or fail. You'll figure it out eventually.
Yes, sir. Being in the woods, man, that's always a game changer for me.
Love it.
But hey, I appreciate you guys being on today, and I hope you fellows have a great day. Chad, man, we're gonna get you back on soon, but we're looking forward to seeing some of those ducks, man.